All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. My phone was ringing. I was getting into something. I almost forgot what the heck I was talking about. So, there was a time when you came out, and it was you and your son, and all of us out there, but it was you and your son, and you were doing a pit drill. And I was like, oh, this is great. And then I'm thinking to a certain point where we're doing the drill, I'm like, he hasn't been out here, so he probably shouldn't be doing this, like this much. And then I was like, hey, you're good right here. And you go, no, I'm gonna keep going. And I'm like, okay, all right, cool. And then we get around to like the other corner. There's still more stuff to be done. And I'm like, oh, he's gonna quit right here. He's like, no. What example would I be setting for my son if I quit now? So I'm like, oh, snap. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
It's fathers and sons. It's athletes. It's people having determination. Like, even though it's difficult, but I'm gonna see this through. So I was like, oh man, it's great. Then I was like, holy man, he gonna be out here next week.
Yeah, let me throw a piece in there. Reggie, he inspired that effort right there because I've come out there a few times before, but I just kind of sat back in the background and just observed and watched what was going on. And he was like, Coach Harris, I don't think you ain't coming out here today. Just stand around and look. You won't have to get out here and get some of this action.
Right.
And the full adult in me, 45 years old, said, I ain't finna let a 12, 14-year-old kid tell me what I can't do.
Right.
And that's the man in me just said, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to give the absolute best that I have until I don't have nothing left.
Yes, sir.
And that was my inspiration. And always, being the father, and I've seen many videos of you and Reggie competing, and he always try to work harder. It's something about that father pushing their son to that level, you know what I'm saying, till they get to the place where they can beat you.
Yes.
And it's like that's an ultimate accomplishment in their lives.
Right.
So that moment was funny because everybody was laughing and I was hollering and screaming and everything else, just trying to get through it. But I wanted my son to see what grit looks like.
Yes. I
wanted him to see what don't quit when you get tired.
Absolutely.
That's what it looks like. Even when in the end, when I was dragging the log and I was like, oh God, I'm here. And then I had to turn around and I gotta run into this tackling dummy. I wanted to finish strong.
Right.
So that inspired me. Now it didn't run me away. let's get that one out the way. It looked like it ran me away, but work and other things kind of got in the way of things, and some other things that I've been trying to do for my life and allow me to get out there as consistently as I need to. Because like I said, I know these are very pivotal moments in my son's life, your son's life, and other young men like Jackson, the Hood, and other young men that's out there dealing. And like I said, they need strong male figures in their lives to show them how to do it. That's the most important thing about this thing here is being healthy examples for young men, especially for young men that are dealing with issues maybe at home. Need an outlet to release.
Right.
Men need outlets to release.
Right.
And, we don't want them to resort to the alcohol and the drugs and the other different things and gang activities and things like that.
Right.
So when they do have something to get off their chest, they have a healthy outlet to get it. This definitely is a healthy outlet to get that steam off of you. You feel better. You exercise and you're getting your body full body exercise. So it's a great thing, and I appreciate you for allowing my son to be a part of this movement as well as myself. And I'm just thankful.
Yes, sir. So here's another thing that we learned. So out there, we have to set this up every time we go out there.
Correct.
So we have to tear it down and set it up. Typically, it's just me or coach, or just coach himself, because he usually gets there before me, and then vice versa. And then we were like, hold on. Why aren't these athletes setting this stuff up? Why they not actually preparing the pit? So with your son, I was like, hey, get on a four-wheeler and drag 65, which is a tackle dummy, everybody. 65 is a tackle dummy that we use out there. And your son's like, I get to ride the four-wheeler? I'm like, no, you get to set up. He's like, but I get to get on the four-wheeler? I'm like, yeah. So then I watched them watch us set up and just do it just like that. So now when we go out there, they do all the sand preparation. They do all the four-wheelers. They set up all the music. They set up everything flawlessly. And then they start warming up on their own. And I was like, wow. So now they have a sense of responsibility out here.
Absolutely.
It's not just that, hey, you show up, you run on logs, and that's just it. And then I was like, okay, I got you one even better. Now you're leading it. You should see the light bulb go off in the air, especially your son. He's like, all right, so, hey, we're going to do this, and this. And he's like yelling at Dawood, you're going to do exactly what I tell you to do, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So now the pit is actually putting these kids in a leadership role.
Absolutely.
That which me and Coach had, in actuality, we're pushing it down to them. And that's something that fathers need to pass down to their sons, too.
Absolutely.
It's that leadership role. So, now I'm looking how can I take someone with your expertise, because you got a lot. You know how to do all that lineman stuff. You know how to set up a whole football team. How do I take somebody with your expertise and then transfer all that out there to the pit, right along with the father-son thing? That's kind of where we're at.
Okay. A lot of that, just looking at some of the things that y'all doing, I mean, I'm a critiquer as well.
Uh-huh.
But that's something that me and you have a conversation about after the fact. But just the same training you do out on the football field is some of the similar to the things you. In order to play football, you got to run, you got to be able to jump, you got to be able to turn on a dime.
Right.
You might got to move somebody around. And so the logs assimilate so many other things than just jumping over them. That's jumping over an opponent. Let's say somebody is trying to, as an offensive lineman, as a defensive lineman trying to cut you, offensive line trying to cut you.
Right.
Guess what? That's that log in front of you that you put your hands over and jump over and achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve.
Yes, sir.
Running around, turning on a dime, like I said, you got a shifty running back and he try to hit this way, you know how to turn the same. Instead of trying to run behind him, you can cut him off before the point of attack. So
yes, sir.
It's so many different facets to this thing that and even with offensive linemen, like I said, I was sitting there and I was looking at Mr. Jacks. Y'all was doing a log drill when y'all was kind of going around the logs like this,
right?
And then y'all was hitting jacks and just working on stands,
yes,
working on positioning, working on using your body for your advantage, not just standing there waiting for the point of attack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Thinking about how you going to attack the situation.
Yes.
Offensively and defensively. You know what I'm saying? Like the person that's coming towards him need to be thinking about what can I do to get past him, and he need to be thinking the same thing. It's a chess match. It's really not. It's not checkers. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I played football, I played up in a 2A school in Mississippi, Shelby, Mississippi. Stand up, Broad Street High School, Jaguars, Mighty Jaguars. We was considered 48-minute man. So we had 12-minute quarters. I never got off the field.
Right.
So we had to play everything. So my ritual when I tell my son this, when you play an offense, they got you on the offensive side of the ball. Hey, take your first set of plays. The first set of plays and see what your opponent gonna have to offer. What did he have to offer? Is he straight up gonna just run into you every time or whatever do? So then you make the adjustments from there. It's teaching young men to make adjustments.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, I was sitting there looking at the infancy of some of these young men like Mr. Jacks right here, man. When I say this kid is grown leaps and bounds, man.
Yes.
And now he's a college athlete, because of the pit, you know what I'm saying? With his story, is an extraordinary story, and he has so much potential in what he can work on. So my element to this thing can just be critique technique as pertains to the sport that you're in, not just football,
right?
Basketball, volleyball,
right?
Softball, any kind of ball that you can play. You can correlate this with this particular training, because this training not only just give you the strength, it give you the endurance in order to do these things. And then after so many times you do this, you stop thinking about these things,
right?
And
it's natural.
It just become natural, just like the hood. When the hood first started, he was just doing what he can do.
Right
now, he don't even think about it. He just keep going. He just keep going. The next thing you know, he finished, and it's like, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. And the kids love it. They look forward to Saturday mornings to come to the pit and and just enjoy that hour, 2 hours.